though some cartographers may claim otherwise. The maps of Io are still far from complete. The Black Sea in particular has always invited explorers and adventurers to fantasize. Situated north of Fiara, many ships have fallen victim to its stormy waters, causing the number of expeditions to diminish.
All right, folks, welcome to today's live stream. I just finished eating, and I managed to burn the roof of my mouth as well. So, yeah. I stuffed the last little bit in because I realized that we were at about 20 seconds. And so, yeah. But it's all right. It's all right. We're here. If you remember from the end of the last live stream, we got everything that I know of from the Unknown Islands, and we were quite literally ready to come back. And that was exactly where I left off. I left off right there. We're ready to come back. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I do know that we're going to get another loading screen almost immediately. So, you know, it is what it is. But how are you folks doing today? It is a Saturday for me. I am not as exhausted as I will be in about 6 hours. But that's because I have to go to work tonight. And because of that, today's live stream is going to be shorter than usual. Usual is about 2 hours. Today, though, I think we're going to go for about an hour. Yes, return to
Everlight. Of the few
Everlight.
refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems to struggle with. The biggest ones being the ever-growing gap between the rich and the poor, an uncontrollable rise in crime, and the Purity of Light's aggressive crusade for new followers.
All right, and I think I meant to ask in there how you folks are doing today. I don't know if I ever did or not.
Off to the Mud District. Let's hope Watley's still there.
And still alive.
Yes. Mud District, huh? Mud District in Watley? Wait, wasn't that... Okay. Okay. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to Mulandir for a minute. I would like to socket the one stone and see if we get any additional conversations. If we don't, then we'll go straight for Aeonir's Blade. If we do, well, then obviously we're going to have some conversations. So, let's pop down here to Mulandir. Really? You're not going to read to me this time? I actually have to talk? Thank you. I appreciate it. Not really, but you know. Oh, so I picked up X4 yesterday. Yeah, I spent all day playing it. I had some other things that I needed to do. They didn't get done. All day. I got probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours in.
Understood.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We have new traders. Whole bunch of new levels. Talk to Yara. All right. Speak with Gore. I think we're going to come over here. We're going to see... Wait, no, I don't want the orcs. Let's try to finish with the humans first, I guess.
Unbelievable. All this.
Must be quite a change of scenery.
Yes, you could say that. All my life I dreamed of stepping through the portal, and now I did. And it's beautiful. Everything is so... vast. Oh well. It will take some getting used to, that's for certain. There's something else I wanted to discuss with you. I brought some things from the island that could come in handy on your travels. Weapons, trinkets, all sorts of things I found in the Hibernian ruins over the years. Most of them haven't been used for millennia, but for a little gold, I could get them back into shape. Just let me know if you want to take a look.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Tandai Tahar.
What do we
Come to
got?
trade?
Everything for the wary traveler.
One-handed. Chance to inflict fire and or ice. Okay. Nullifying. I think we have one of those, don't we? All right, so we're going to sell that. 2 additional targets. That would be nice. Keep the shaman sword. Keep the frostbite mace. Is this Staff of Lasting Flames? Right. So I don't need the ambient pyromancy. What do we have here? A Dustcrawler's Tower Shield. A Thawing Shield cannot be stunned. Okay. Snake Shot, Julius's Sword. Deadly Reflection. Trying to see if there's anything that I want. I'm not seeing anything. So let's just sell the one thing.
Good choice.
There's a lot of traders here.
Yes, yes.
Let me take a look at your designs.
17,000.
Take all the time you need.
Yeah. Alright, we can sell that. And versus undead. Okay, those are the staffs. Or staves. Sacrifice of Julius. Bane of Snakes. Additional damage ice. Fire. Versus humans. Cool. And then all of these. Keep that. I can sell one of those. I can Snell. Yep. Snell both of the shields. I can't talk. Oh, it's great. Helmet of the Pack. Oh, that's the chance to summon a goblin. Okay, that one was actually useful in certain circumstances. Focus HP. I don't need either of those. Let's see here. I don't think I've read these yet, which is bad on me. And the rest of these we're keeping. Okay. So that's over his amount of money. So let's start buying stuff. I would like to fully upgrade at least one area. Like one race. I'm probably going to try it with both races. But we'll have to see. 5, 10. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 25,000 for everything. No. That's like 250,000 for everything. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that right. Okay. Oh, that's sorting that, not this. Okay. So it's actually 4x4. It's 16 times 5. Okay, let's see here. Let's do a cost reduction on the logging camp. Cost reduction on the stoneworks. On the forge, the iron mine, the smelter, the barracks, the farm. Wow. All right, so we just blew through some money. Oopsies, that was not the button I wanted to hit.
Bargain, don't you?
Considering you just cost me like everything. All right, let's see here. What do you have?
What can I do for you today?
Wait, those weren't unlocked previously?
I'll be off. Thanks for your help, Haggard.
Sure.
Seriously?
May me help guide your blade.
Watchtower, fortified watchtower. I thought we already had the forge. Oh, we unlocked the cost reduction. Okay, see, look at this. So, there's still some stuff, like reinforcements that we need. Or not as many as I thought. Huh. Alright. You're new-ish. Well, hello. How do we normally get here? We take a very long path. Okay. So we need to talk in the middle. We'll get that on our way back in. You gonna? Yeah, you're probably gonna come this way. Yep. Hey, Lucas. No, I haven't done Aeonir's Blade yet. I just came back because I knew that it would update some stuff. And I wanted to...
What is it?
See what was going on. Oh, okay, you're just an elven thing.
That's it for now.
It said it
Okay.
gave us 2
So
new
long, Taha.
ones. But I don't see any new ones. I don't know. Said it gave us 2 new traders, but I only found 1. Right, I need to redo Uram as well. He'll do less damage, but he'll be able to take a whole lot more.
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
It's not so much every time I see new to see new stuff. Yeah, anytime you update anything, you come back and check. Yeah, no, I totally know how all that works.
Can you tell me more about your abilities? What's it like to be a Dreamweaver?
Did we already do
I
this?
suppose trying to explain that to someone who isn't.
Yeah,
If
I think we already
enter a
did this
place
one.
where someone has died.
Well,
There we go.
there's something I've been meaning to ask you. How did you become an assassin?
Why do you want to know?
No particular reason, I suppose. I'm just curious.
I see. In short, my mother sold me. And after an incident, my owner noticed my talents. He started to train me to carry out jobs for him. And when I was 17, he had an accident. I've been an independent assassin ever since.
Your mother sold you? But where? Why?
Because she needed the coin, and already had 4 children to feed. And as for your first question, where there is demand, there is a market. Particularly in a big city like Greyfell. It's not as uncommon as you might believe.
You're saying there's a slave market in Greyfell?
Slaves, sex, murdering for pleasure. Just imagine every dark desire you can think of. And you know what the Greyfell Bazaar has to offer. I find it interesting that this surprises you. Didn't you serve in the Royal Army for 8 years?
I only joined shortly before the Mage Wars started, and the Greyfell affairs were the responsibility of the Greyfell Guard. I just didn't know.
Well, now you do. I do not agree with the purity of light in most aspects. But they are right when they say there are many sinners in this world. If you believe in the concept of sin, that is.
Even if she needed the money, that's despicable.
Well, to her credit, she didn't take it lightly. At least as far as I can remember. I was only 7 when that happened.
That doesn't make it better. How do you feel about this? Your mother selling you off?
Well, I used to feel strongly about it. Now I've simply accepted it as part of my past. But there are plenty of reasons for that.
That's quite the story.
Is it?
So, who is this man who bought you?
I won't talk about that. This chapter of my past is done, and I want it to stay buried.
That sounds like you're hiding something.
I am. But it should be of no relevance to you. So, tell me, Pariah. How did you become the betrayer's child in the first place? It's rare for a child to defy their own father.
So that said now. It didn't say no. It said now. All right, let's see here.
He lost his vision. When he started the rebellion, it was about the safety of mages, but he became more and more radical. I just couldn't stand by and watch anymore.
That's admirable. Well, thank you for sharing this with me. Either way, is there anything else you need?
Nope.
Goodbye.
Not anymore.
Huh?
Oh, that's Uram. Okay, so we can't talk with Uram yet. The next one we can talk to... We've got Yara and Gore that we need to talk to. Undergast in Mulandir. Oh, talk to Undergast. Okay. Advance, and Rowan. So... There's Rowan. And I'm guessing you're Undergast? Yeah. Okay, we need more money. I need more things to sell.
Now,
Tahar, what is it?
there's one thing I've been wondering about. After we parted at the hideout, what exactly happened? How did you and my father part ways?
Good question. I guess it all started with the relics, the tomes. You remember them, right?
Yes. He was hoping they'd help him to win the war.
Exactly. And there was this one moment when he found the 5th tome, when I came to a realization. You see, there were all those bodies, enemies, but also many of our people. We had shed so much blood, Tahar. But Asamo, he didn't care. If there was any grief in his eyes, I couldn't see it. And as dramatic as it may sound, that's when I finally understood that we had lost our cause. This wasn't about ideals, about us mages anymore. It was about him. Whatever his intentions had become.
And that's the reason Zane, Helena, and I betrayed him. Come on, do you really want to tell us you didn't see that before? The tomes were all about power.
I knew it was about power. But Asamo always told us that he would use that power for the greater good. And it's not that far off. I mean, can't you imagine? With the power of the tomes, we could have united the world. Even made it a better one. No more persecution of the deviant. No more wars. No more suffering.
You still sound like a fanatic.
I'm sad you see it that way.
Well,
I'll be off.
that was cut a little bit short. And yeah. I mean, I have some money. We've got 23,000, but I'm trying to keep some in reserve just in case we come across a merchant somewhere that it's like, oh, that piece of armor or that weapon is like the best I've ever found. I mean, to be fair, I've found stuff like that where it's like this merchant is carrying stuff that is so much of an upgrade that it's not even funny.
I must say, I am impressed.
With Mulandir? Yes. It's quite a sight. I still can't believe we're the first ones who found this place.
It seems unlikely, yes, but yet it happened. Isgrim, the dwarf, told me about it. He said that the rock illusion shielding the entrance vanished as soon as you spoke the words, and that it did not react to Isgrim himself. Tell me, Tahar, what do you make of that?
Maybe I'm connected to this place.
But how? I know there is more to you than meets the eye. Something about you is different, although I cannot say what it is. I believe we stand on the verge of a change. Things have happened, Tahar. Things, the extent of which we have not even come close to comprehending. And they have set something in motion.
How do you know this? Are you some kind of medium?
A medium? No, quite the opposite. I am an observer. As you have undoubtedly noticed, I lack the, let us call it emotional intensity most people display in their daily lives. That can be a challenge, but it also allows me a unique perspective on the world. And to me, it is evident that the war your father started has done more than simply given birth to the purity of light. It was the first pebble in what will soon become an avalanche.
You're talking about the Bloodburn.
Among other things, yes. But as I said, there is more to it. All this, your journey, your role in what Rondar Lacane believes to be a vision sent by Aenir. It is only the beginning. But let us continue this discussion when I can give you more than vague, semi-prophetic statements.
All right. We'll talk later.
Why? When?
When something comes up. I'll go prepare for our next mission now.
Understood.
So,
Yes?
see.
What is it?
can I just... Interesting.
Where did you grow up? You don't look Nortandian.
I do not. That is correct. I grew up in Imperia.
Imperia? That's a long way from here.
I know, but I hardly have any memories. My parents fled from the Civil War and set over to Northander when I was only 4 years old.
So you were refugees?
Yes, much like many Nortandians are now. We lived in the Utran lands, and my parents are still there.
What's it like to live in Northander as an Empyrean?
Well, it was my impression that Utran people are by nature a lot more skeptical towards outsiders than, for example, the citizens of Everlight. All in all, however, I cannot complain. Both my father and my mother found work quite quickly, and thanks to my occupation as first scholar of the Creators Guild, they now live a quite comfortable life.
And when did you discover your magic?
At a very early age. I believe I was 7 at that time. I must have had an outbreak, but I can hardly remember any of it. All I know is that my mother's employer, who was a mage himself, immediately took me in. I went to Everlight when I was 10, and did not leave there ever since. Until now.
Interesting. You're the first Empyrean I've met.
I am not surprised.
I've noticed that you use both white and black magic in combat. I've never seen anyone do that before. Don't the two schools exclude each other?
Normally, yes. The essence of white and of black magic deeply oppose each other. Trying to combine both of them usually has a similar effect on a mage's mind as adding water onto a patch of burning oil. I, however, never had that problem. The first time I found out was at the Arcane University in Greyfell, where I studied. The white magic spell I had cast on a rabbit to heal his wounded paw accidentally killed it. I was very young at that time, and I knew my professor would be upset if he found out, so I channeled my energy on undoing what I had done. As a result, I created an undead rabbit. It immediately went feral, and I put it back to sleep. But rather than feeling the terrible headache that had been described to us as an effect of combining these two schools, I felt a slight sense of, well, exhilaration. I secretly continued these experiments during my studies, and found out that whatever it is that causes this mental discord among normal mages did not affect me.
Do you have an explanation for this?
No, I do not. Maybe it has to do with the way my mind is structured, or maybe it is a simple coincidence.
Well, that's odd.
That's awesome.
Goodbye.
I mean, it kind of sucks that he killed a rabbit to figure it out and then brought it back from the dead. Are you still up here? Can I kill you? I highly doubt it.
What do we need?
At least not by myself. All right. So I have to remember to switch over Uram's talents. I'm going to switch him to, let's see here. Here was my thought. I'm going to switch him to the Infectious Suffering, which hits 2 additional targets, as well as the Shield of Deadly Allure, which applies Weakened to everybody, on somebody who already has the Impervious Protector. Makes him immune to all debuffs. Oh, man. I'll lose his massive damage and output, but that's okay. I think I can deal with that.
Now would you look at that?
I loved the echo. I didn't know that it echoed in here. That's awesome. All right, do I have to talk to Isgrim as well? I do.
How are you holding up?
Fine, I guess. Thanks for asking. You know, Corporal, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes?
Well, not knowing your mother and all that shit your father put you through. Do you ever feel lost?
Why do you want to know?
Oh, I'm just wondering, I guess. So, what's your answer?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I figured. You know, I haven't told you that yet, but actually our pasts aren't so different. Save for the fact that my father didn't try to conquer the world, at least not that I know.
How are our pasts alike then?
Simply put, I also didn't know my mother. And my father was a bastard if there ever was one.
What happened to your mother?
She died giving birth to me.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. As I said, I never knew her.
I take it you and your father aren't on good terms then.
You are of great wisdom, Tahar. No, we were not. I was and still am the only heir of the family, and if there's anything my father ever cared about, it was prestige. You see, it might not be obvious, but I'm actually of noble blood. Pure blood, as Finn and Mir elves call it. Nothing impressive, small nobility. You know, similar to the kind of Nortander nobility that's always around at royal festivities, licking everyone's boots so that they just don't forget about them.
There's nobility in Finn and Mir?
Oh, yes, there is. They don't call it that, but essentially Finn and Mir is an aristocracy.
How so?
Well, as you might know, elven culture heavily revolves around the White Tree, a gift from their goddess Ellen. Simply put, the tree is revered and guarded by a group of mages, of seers, called the Council. They're the rulers of our country, 6 women and 6 men. Now, according to the ancient lore, when a seer dies, his or her successor is chosen by the Council. However, it has become custom that a seer should be replaced by someone from his bloodline. Someone pure, as they call it.
Which means they make sure that the power stays within the right families.
Indeed. And even though elven families in themselves are small, if you count all the cousins, aunts, and uncles, the members of just one council family could populate a whole township. In other words, the closer your blood ties with the council, the closer you are to the White Tree. And thus, the higher your standing.
So I assume your father put you under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I barely had a childhood. It was all stern-faced teachers instead, trying to feed me language, history, math, and magic from the day I could speak. And I can't even remember all those festivities and religious ceremonies I had to attend. It was as if I learned the meaning of the word small talk before I learned how to ask for my mother's teat. Not that she would have been around to listen.
How about friends?
Oh, that's another topic. I was allowed to go out and play as long as it was with the right people. Still, I didn't, which was my choice, really. One of the few I made in those years. I preferred to stay on my own.
How come?
I don't know. See, I've always felt a bit ahead of others. As you know, we think in other dimensions than you do. Our lives are a lot longer. What that means is that an elf who has seen 20 winters is still considered and looks like a child. Thus, behaves as such. I just never felt at home with most people. Especially around my age. And that feeling never changed.
What was your father hoping to gain from this?
Isn't it obvious? He wanted to marry me off, and thus expand our petty little family's prestige.
If he simply wanted to arrange a marriage for you, then why teach you magic, maths? When these things happen in Nortander, it's usually more about, how shall I put it?
The looks?
And the ancestry, yes.
Well, these things play a big role in Finn and Mir too, but to be considered a good match, education and magical talent are just as important. For a priest, let alone a pure blood, to be seen with an uneducated, non-gifted street elf is frowned upon, not to say forbidden. Also, from what I've learned, it's mostly young women and girls who get married off in Nortander, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, this isn't the case in Finn and Mir. If the head of a family decides to do so, a young boy or a young man may have the same fate as the one I just escaped by a hair's breadth. But this is a topic you could fill books with. Probably not for now.
But it never came to that?
Almost.
I see. Where is your father now?
Dead as a doornail. He got assassinated some years before I was allowed into the priesthood.
Assassinated? What happened?
He got mistaken for someone else. But it doesn't really matter. Let's not talk about it.
Talk about an oops moment.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. To be honest, I'm glad he's dead. Otherwise, I would be in bed next to some 200-year-old seer now. You see, Tahar, if there's one thing I took away from all that, It's that there's no greater power in life. Or, if there is, it doesn't care. Murderers live to be 100, children die in the birth beds. Ultimately, the biggest fallacy is that we like to believe that there's someone who gives a damn. We're on our own, and we have to make the best out of whatever life throws at us. I did. And even though not all worked out as I had planned, I'm here. And I'm free.
But the Guardians are real.
I never said that they weren't. But tell me one thing. Why is there cruelty when there's Shanna? Why is there injustice when there's Arian? Why do children die when there's Ellen? There are two explanations. Number one, the Guardians are far less powerful than we think. Number two, they just don't give a damn.
I couldn't agree more.
Happy to hear that. The gods aren't the answer. Yeah, every once in a while there's the token miracle healing, but chances of your prayers being answered are next to none. So you can either sit on your buttocks hoping that some god will take pity, or you can take your fate into your own hands.
That's a cynical way to see things.
No more cynical than to believe that the gods care.
Why?
Well, if you had the power to intervene without risk and you don't, what does that make you? A textbook cynic, and definitely not someone I'd like to have a drink with, let alone worship.
But you still feel lost sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But I'm working on it. Anyway, we digressed quite a bit, didn't we? Sorry, my fault. Sometimes I just talk too much. I'll see you around, Tahar. And thanks for listening.
No problem. Wee.
Got it.
Yeah, I know you got it.
Interesting.
I don't know. Sometimes I wish these guys could walk around faster.
Huh? Back in Bargagor, you told me that you think the orc should strive to be more. What do you mean by that? Do you consider your culture to be, well, inferior?
Inferior? No, not at all. On the contrary, I'm glad to be a fire wielder, and not a human or an elf.
Why?
Because not so unlike the Shapers, your culture is bigoted, strange. You like to tell yourselves
Did we
you're
already do
more
this
than
one?
the animals you slaughter for food. You call yourselves civilized. But in the end, you look for the struggle just as anything and anyone else does. But of course you don't admit to it. You want to be better than that. And the result are lies, intrigue, wars, and assassinations. Your culture is so bizarre that it's almost amusing.
True, except in here there is no Godstone. We've already done this.
Well,
I know. So fools, if you make it sound so true. Sure.
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was chosen.
And how does that work?
Complicated. Are you sure you want to hear the whole story? Time isn't exactly on our side.
It isn't, but the more I know about your abilities, the better. You're fighting for me, after all.
We're not fighting for you, Tahar. We are fighting alongside each other. That's a big difference.
Maybe, but for now, I'm your commander.
On the field, yes. But that doesn't mean you can order me or my men around as you want. Still, you've got fire. I like that. Let's make it short then. Shapeshifting is a gift of Zarek. One that only the best of his shamans are granted.
And how does one become a shaman?
He has to be chosen by a tribe's chieftain. You see, magical talent is a lot rarer among orcs than it is among humans or elves. In my tribe, there was only me and Rain. We both discovered our talent by chance. I, when I was 9, and put out a fire that had broken out in my family's hut. Everybody was asleep, even the damn fool that had been tasked to stand guard. When I woke up, the entire room was in flames.
So it was your magic that woke you?
No, I needed to take a piss.
Makes sense. What happened then?
I panicked and started screaming, as every child would have. However, the only thing that did was make me inhale the fumes even quicker. My vision blurred and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was on a bed of hay in the village shaman's tent, and everybody was staring at me, as if I was Zarek incarnate. I asked what happened and they told me. Just when I had lost consciousness, it had started to rain. Not just a little. It was a full-fledged storm, a deluge from the skies. With not even a minute, all the tents in the village had been flooded. The fire wasn't extinguished right away, but was quickly put out by the other orcs that had been awoken by the storm.
That's impressive.
Well, it was also my last successful weather ritual. If it hadn't been, Bargagor would be all meadows and forests by now. According to my brothers, I had an orange shimmer in my eyes, and was muttering strange words when they took me to the shaman. She told me that was a clear sign that I was gifted, and that I had fire in my blood, as my tribe likes to say. Of course, it changed my life entirely. All of a sudden, I was my Cal's pride. It was strange, not just for me, but also for my kin.
How did your family take it?
Well, they were proud. But they also weren't sure how to treat me anymore. For example, my father stopped taking me out on the hunt because he was afraid that something might happen. Which is ridiculous, shaman or not. An orc who can't wield a spear isn't an orc at all. Also, my siblings became withdrawn. Jealousy, of course, but also estrangement. All of a sudden, their baby brother had become this strange being, which had apparently been bitten by Zarek himself.
It's always like that. Being different isolates you.
I guess.
Who trained you? The healer?
Yes, but only about her craft. Primitive ghost callings, alchemy, medicine. I learned my magic from an elder who lived in a tiny shack a 15-mile march from our village. I woke up every day before dawn, walked for 2 hours, served him, and received my lessons. Then returned to my Cal shortly before midnight. It was hard, yes, but it was insightful. Those long walks in the darkness, the solitude at the foot of the mountain where his shack was, they shaped me.
Interesting. And who is this Rain you mentioned earlier?
Did I? Well, that's complicated. I don't want to talk about it.
All right. I'll be off.
All right. So, well, there are godstones in here. Well, hey, look at that. Shows you how much I pay attention to what's actually going on. Whoops.
To this day, the Shaper's magical and technological prowess remains unrivaled.
Understood.
Okay.
Will do.
So let's talk to Isgrim, and then we'll slot this stone into place. And then we'll maybe go out and do something for a little while.
Do you need something? I'm a tad busy.
I'd still like to know more about how you ended up in Nortender.
Bugger and blast. And here I was hoping you'd forgotten. All right, I'll tell you. But only under one condition.
Yes?
That I get to ask you a personal question too.
Then we have a deal. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Fair enough. I was born in the Windwall Mountains. Sorry, still sorting out my thoughts. It's been a long time since I last told this story to anyone. Alright, one more time. As you can imagine, I was born in Windwall, a child of the rocks.
Come again?
A true dwarf, as some would say. Born in the buried city, not on the outside as the traders and farmers are. My family was quite privileged. Not nobility, but my mother and father led a big smeltery which supplied one of the finest smithies. Moon silver weaponry. Ever heard of it?
I think so. The commanders of the Royal Army used them.
Figures. Well, my childhood was a rather unremarkable one. I had 2 brothers and a sister, and even though I was the oldest child, I was always the most quiet one. I learned quickly how to wield an axe, and I still know how to do it, but I never took pleasure in it. The same goes for my parents' craft. For some reason, Nihalf had given me a talent for metallurgy, but not the desire to use it. Instead, my biggest love was always made with ink. Books.
But I assume your parents didn't approve of that.
Oh no, they didn't mind. I had 3 siblings who could do the job as well as I, so the future of our family was secured. On the contrary, they were quite accepting, which wasn't usual amongst dwarves, especially not those in Windwall.
Are the surface dwarfs different?
Depends. There are some who were very open-minded. For example, the traders who get around a lot. On the other hand, there are some who were as ignorant as the Windwallers.
Dwarves are traditionalists, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they are. They love their brawls, they love their ale, and they love their metal crafting. And they never miss a chance to tell the outside world just how much they do.
Well, to be honest, when I think of dwarven culture, that's exactly what comes to my mind.
See? And that's the problem. There's always diversity in every race. There are soft-hearted orcs, there are elves who don't give a damn about the white tree, and there are humans with... well, you get the point. What I'm trying to say is, many dwarves love living these traditions, but there are some like me who just don't fit in. This is one of the reasons why I appreciate you and this group so much, Tahar. Aenir's tools or not, we're all pariahs, in one way or another.
So, what happened? Why did you leave Windwall?
I'm getting there, Tahar. When I came of age, I found work in the Windwall Library. That time was also when I deepened my knowledge of the Shapers. I devoured all the books there were, and bought whatever writings the merchants brought in. They smiled at me, talked of me as the strange bird, but I didn't care. The more I read, the more spellbound I became, and the more I dreamed of journeying through Io to solve all those mysteries not yet uncovered.
Are there Shaper ruins in the Windwall Mountains?
Hardly. And those that are there are buried beneath miles and miles of rock. Impossible to access without a huge expedition.
Huh. And what kept you from doing just that?
Well, 2 things. First of all, my attachment to my family. Secondly, Gilak.
Gileak?
My, partner.
You had a partner?
Yeah. We met... I'd rather not go into detail too much. Fact is, we lived together for 6 years. He was very dear to me. Let's put it that way.
What are dwarven families like?
Similar to their human counterparts, I believe. Having family and offspring is considered to be very important, especially if you're of noble blood.
But living with someone of the same sex is acceptable?
Well, yes and no. If you do, you don't talk about it, and you should make sure to find yourself a wife or a husband to found a proper family, eventually, and bring new children of stone into the world, even if that family is just a charade. If you don't do that, you're frowned upon. There's even a word for a childless dwarf, man or woman. Galrag, which roughly translates as dusty boulder. Very amusing, I know.
That's sad.
Well, I doubt it's going to change anytime soon. And once again, the Shapers were different in that regard. As long as you stay within the boundaries of your caste, you could do as you pleased.
I understand. But something happened, didn't it?
Yeah. The Blackstone Rebellion. Ever heard of it?
Yes. A coup, wasn't it?
Yeah. An attempt to overthrow the royal house. It was bound to fail from the beginning. The rebels were anti-traditionalist and wanted to establish a new order, where it's the people who have the power, not the nobility. Gilak was one of these rebels.
Oh.
Yeah. At first, before the coup, they tried to raise awareness by giving underground speeches. A noble endeavor, but not at all thought through. Most dwarves just don't care about politics as long as they can have their mugs of ale. First, he didn't ask me to participate, but the more sour things went, the more he started pushing me. At one point, we had a fight. When he asked me to steal money from my family to support the movement, it was terrible. Finally, push came to shove, and he told me of the coup. He knew that despite my occupation, I was a remarkable fighter and Earthshaper, which is why he asked me to fight alongside him. You can make a difference, that's what he said. By Nihalf, he was just so naive. He really thought it would be like in the old legends, a group of courageous dwarves fighting their way to Algrim Castle with me at his side. I just don't... Forgive me. It's strange to talk about it like this.
It's okay. Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, sure. You can imagine how torn I was. I knew he'd die if the coup took place, but I also knew that I couldn't stop him. When I told him he was mad, he called me a coward, a delusional bookworm, who'd rather spend his whole life dreaming about the past than changing the present. And then he left. The next day, I found him beheaded by a royal guard. They didn't even make it to the castle stairs.
I'm sorry, Iskrim.
It's all right.
Why didn't you tell the guard about the movement's plans? They could have stopped him.
Yeah, they could have. Only to execute him and all his friends the next morrow. Tahar, believe me, I thought about this quite a lot. About what I could or should have done. And do you want to know the saddest part of it?
What?
I came to the conclusion that I did nothing wrong. He had his mind set, and nothing I could have said would have changed what had been about to happen. In the end, there's only so much you can do.
What happened then?
I ran. Not only because I'd rather have died than return to that empty house of ours, but also because they would have arrested me too. Our relationship wasn't a secret, and in their eyes, I was as eccentric as Gilak and his friends. And we all know how dangerous eccentrics are, don't we? I left my family a letter, telling them not to come after me, bought a horse, and rode as far as it would take me before collapsing. That was 9 years ago. I haven't returned ever since.
What about your family? Did you ever hear from them again?
Not directly. Every now and then, I return to a big city to find a dwarf who can tell me about Windwall. But the thought of returning, I don't know. I know it's cruel toward them, but I just don't think I could ever bear setting foot in those cursed stone halls again.
I see. And since then, you've been studying the Shapers?
Yeah. If there really is, as people say, a silver lining to everything, then this would be it. I'm finally doing what I was too afraid to do back in Windwall. I'm living my dream. Though the price I paid for it was high. And you know what, Tahar?
What?
There's a third reason to my fascination with the Shapers I haven't told you about yet. It's Gilak. Stupid as it may sound, there's a part of me who wants to prove him wrong. To show him that the past has value. That it can guide us towards a better world.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing this, Iskrim. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It felt good to talk about it. I didn't expect that. But you're not off the hook yet. The question, remember?
Right. Shoot.
Your past is even more unusual than mine. Growing up with a man like Isamu Tahar as your father? Without a mother? And then the whole thing with the Mage Rebellion? I know you've been through a lot. Now, I was wondering, if you could trade that past you've had for a different one, would you do it?
I wouldn't.
That surprises me, to be honest. But I think I understand. Either way, pleasure speaking with you. Hope this wasn't too grim for you, but then again, you asked for it. Give me some time now, will you?
Sure. Take care, Iskrim.
Iskrim now has access to a new skill, Bastion. What? So that's how you do Infinity. You have to talk to them. Self-targeted, temporarily encase yourself in stone and become invulnerable. Wow. That's actually not terrible. And let's bump Constitution up. Oh, I took away everything. I should probably do that for everybody. Just so that I don't have to worry about it. Let's see here. I don't know if I'll ever take Rohan or Gore out again. Just because. Let's go with intelligence. Give me all your stuff. If I bring them out, I can re-equip them. Alright. Reduce cooldowns. Let's go with dexterity. Alright. So, undergassed. Let's make sure that we're good here. Your staff is fine. I have new rings now. Focus, focus, HP, focus. Let's give you a little bit extra focus. We can leave me alone. I love how that's a fire staff. Yara is good. Iskrim we're not worrying about. Rowan we're not worrying about. Uram. He is going to get changed around here soon. Yeah, we're going to change him around in a minute. Alright, yes. So let's place this.
Tahar, finally! Do you have the stone?
I do. What now? How do we connect it to the Nexus?
Well, I've done a little research on that. It should be pretty straightforward. Give me the stone for a second, please.
Sure.
Thanks. Now, let's see. Whoa!
This is amazing. What the heck just happened? Was that the stone?
Yeah. It seems like our plan worked. The stones are the power sources of the Nexus.
Not sources, Tahar. They're simply the catalysts. As I said, the energy, all this magic, it comes from someplace else.
Well, I definitely know why the Shapers were so powerful now. If they were able to harness that, I wouldn't want to be their enemy.
Pain.
Pardon?
Rekindling this place. I can feel their thoughts now. At least, some of them.
You mean the Shaper's thoughts?
Those who connected themselves to this place. The ones who had the power of telepathy. They left an echo, and whatever wiped out the Shapers, it caused pain. Horrible pain.
I see.
Well, fascinating or not, we need to connect our minds to the Nexus to find the source of the blood burn, right? Can we do that now?
No. It's not strong enough yet.
Well, we knew that already. We need to find the second stone first. Let's head to Aeonir's Blade. It's a long journey, but we don't have a choice.
Okay. I've made a decision. Everybody's gonna get some sort of armor. You can have your armor. Gore, you can have your armor. Uram, you're good. Iana. Let's give you... Let's give you the Gamberson. No. That looks better. Really? Okay. At least now they won't show up down here naked. I didn't think about that. I only thought about the fact that we wouldn't be taking them out, and so we could sell some of their stuff, but... Okay, so... we should now be able to use the Godstones at least a little bit. Now, is there a shift? Will it do that? It will! Except he doesn't keep going. Dang it. I was hoping I could queue up actions. Alright. Let's get back to the world map in a moment. Once Mulandir finally loads. Okay, advance the main quest, bring him more. Advance the main quest, advance the main quest. Other locations. We have Aenir's Blade. Okay. Now, where is Aenir's Blade? North, south, east, west. It'd be nice to know where it is. I mean, I could just... I mean, the other thing would be, like, put a... I don't know. I think Aenir's Blade was south, wasn't it? Yeah, there it is. Cool. Yes.
The Field Dog. What may sound like a myth or horror story to many is harsh reality for the 200 Iron Falcons of the canyon named Aenir's Blade. According to legend, the guardian gods fought back the Field Dog, ancient mythical demons, and sealed them in a tomb. Ever since that day, the Field Dog have tried to break free, raising hordes of the undead from the sand to do their bidding, and it is only the Iron Falcons who stand between them and their return to the world.
No, I didn't. We put it in. That was the last little bit.
Quite the view. So that's where the Iron Falcons guard the Field Dog.
I don't need to remind you that we should be careful, right? Aenir's Blade is and always has been a battlefield.
I know. We'll go in, get the stone, and leave. Maybe we won't even need to send in our army. Let's scout the area.
Yeah, no, I totally put it in. Because we have Uncover the Secret, Isgrim's Armor, Remnants of Old, Power Hungry, and then a whole bunch of Advance the Main Quests. And that's it. I put in the stone right at the end. We activated one of the 3 little tombstone-like pillars that are right there. And they what's her name? Ishra talked about the Shapers being in pain. Because whatever killed them gave them a lot of pain. So yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it. It was right before I re-equipped the armor on everybody because I realized that they were all standing around basically naked. Oh yeah, we have to fix Ram. You. Okay, I need... Where is it? Potion of... There it is. Fresh start. Okay, so we need a strength of 3, a dex of 2, and a constitution of 3? That's it? Oh, it's because it's an 8% block chance as opposed to 20% for these. Armored, but that weakened aura is going to be useful. Okay. So, in here we need 1 dex. I'm going to go back up to 9 here. Let's go with a little bit. Put strength up to 9 as well. Right? I think so. 2 dex. So to use this, we need 2 dex and 3 strength. To use this, we would need 4 dex. This does more. Yeah, okay. So if I hit apply, I can equip that. It drops us to 70, but that's okay. Oh, it's literally a pike. There we go. That thing's shiny. So shiny. Okay. So that takes care of that. Now over here in abilities, I would like the auto life and the increased health. So we've got 1, 1, 1, 2. And focus. Okay. Maximum health and focus. Alright. What is this? Infect all corpses in a small area around this. They deal black damage. Probably not. Okay, so let's apply those. Let's go with brutality. Whirlwind. No, sorry. Here, block or shield bash. Stun all enemies in a small area. Increases block chance when using shields and auto attack with one-handed. We also want War Cry. Weakened targets are stunned. Taunt, interrupt, and purge. Alright. And teleport the target to you. Oh, I can't take it. Alright. So we need Shield Bash, War Cry, and Taunt. Let's see here. Shield Bash, War Cry, Taunt. Taunt sounds fun, especially since I can interrupt. Alright, there we go. Now, we're not going to have that super massive damage that Uran Ram could do. But we'll have Weakened. We can do stuff like Stun. What's going on here?
Told them he shouldn't do it. Told him. But he wouldn't listen. You know? He...
Tiara's breath. Who are you? Who did this to you?
What?
I said, who are you?
No. No, Mother. It was him. Why don't you believe me? It was him.
He's hallucinating. It's too late for him.
Wait, let me see. SWTOR.
Mother, I can see this city now. Tiara's breath. It's so white. So beautiful.
Damn it.
He was an Iron Falcon. That's a bad sign. Seems that something happened down in that canyon. Let's be wary.
Alright. Can we just run through here? No, come back here. No, go up here. Oh! I can kind of come up here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Let's see.
To say the least, being in here. More falcons clad in leather armor. Scouts. Is there anything behind this? No. You know, it actually wouldn't surprise me if we ran into some stone golems while we're up here.
Finally.
That would not surprise me one bit. A buried chest. Wind and weather have made the wood brittle. And in here we have a green hood of focus. Alright. Well, before we get too far in here, I did plan on today's live stream only being an hour or so. And ironically, that was enough to get us caught up and on to the next area. So I'm sorry that today's live stream has been shorter than usual. I have a lot of other videos and stuff that I have to make. All in preparation of my, something like 11-day trip home for Christmas. That'll be amazing. I get to spend 11 days doing absolutely nothing. It'll be awesome. But yeah, that's 2 weekends of recording time plus the normal 6 weekday days that I would be recording as well that I have to make up for. I'm a little bit ahead at this point, but yeah, so I'm trying to get ahead on those. And with working nights on the weekends, it's been making my time a little bit more valuable, I'll say. I need to find a way to spread out my weekend stuff a little bit more, so that I have a little bit more time for the live streams. But yeah, I'm going to end off today's here. I know it was only an hour. I'm sorry, but I did still want to do the live stream. I contemplated skipping it, but then I realized that I only have three or four weekends left before I leave, and so it didn't make much sense to skip a live stream. I'm hoping that I can have this done by the time I go, but I also don't know. I don't know how many hours are left. I am trying to do as much as I can, and as a result of that, the exploration and all that stuff take forever. So I'm going to end it off here. I hope you folks enjoyed it. I'm going to be live streaming again tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So yeah, if you care to join me then, that would be great. If not, there's always the videos on the YouTube channel as these get uploaded there as well. And stay frosty out there, everyone.